The running back position can be tough, especially once we get in season. A lot of fantasy managers struggle patching up the roster once injuries hit their team. We saw Javonte Williams go out for the season. Cordell Patterson's out for 4 games, or at least 4 games. And a lot of the running backs are struggling. It's a hard position to pinpoint, but I got 5 running backs today that we're going to cover right now, and we're going to see if they are suitable for our needs. These are the hot running backs, guys that we can use to patch up our rosters, get off waivers, maybe even trade for if we need to. But first running back we're going to be talking about today, Tyler Allgeier. Saw a bigger workload once CPAT went out. He has the profile of a 3-down workhorse. Check the archives. We were talking about him a lot during draft season. He was a big-time producer during his collegiate days. Has the size, has the frame. The athletic specs are good enough. Not grandioso, but good enough. Late-round draft capital, but still, this is a moment. This is opportunity. Let's see if he can shine. There's also Caleb Huntley. He scored 11.6 PPR fantasy points last week. He could also get some run as well, and it might be whichever running back's firing the most in that game. Whoever's doing the best with their carries. And it could be a Caleb Huntley game. It could be an Allgeier game. Something you got to notice. The guy I'm putting my chips in, though, is on Tyler Allgeier. I like the profile coming out of college. We talked about him a lot on the channel. He does have some gusto in his game that you could go after. The next running back we're talking about is Nyheim Hines. Jonathan Taylor's on the mend from that injury. We don't know where he's at. We've seen tweets that says they're still looking into it. He could be back. He could not be back. I'm just being Bayesian here. But Nyheim Hines could be on the waiver wire in your league. He is rostered in about 60 to 65% of leagues. So go check and see if he's there. 13 targets in his last 3 games. Used a lot in the passing game. So great for PPR, especially if he's getting a bigger workload. He has a 46.2 route participation rate over the last 3 weeks as well. So he is getting workload in the passing game. And that's always good, especially in PPR. Be on the lookout for Deion Jackson as well if Jonathan Taylor has to sit out, because he can be valuable in deeper leagues, 16-teamers or so. Next running back we're going to talk about, Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert surprised us a little bit. Got 17 touches while Chase Edmonds got 7 last week, 81 yards from scrimmage. He is the hot waiver wire guy. He's number 1 on the list for a lot of people, and everyone's going to be going after him. So I had to talk about him. Touches are king for fantasy, especially for running backs. You touching the ball, that's going to give you opportunity for fantasy points, whether you're in a good team, bad situation, bad matchup. If you're touching the ball, the better opportunity you got. 17 touches last week against the Bengals. Good sign going forward. A lot of people were chasing him this week. That's why we're talking about him. Next guy, and I want you to go after Rachaad White. If he's on the waiver wire, go after Rachaad White. We're seeing an increase in snaps. Had a 37.5% snap share on Sunday night. 5 targets as well, and the workload's increasing. Lenny Fournette can't be the workhorse for a whole season. They cannot risk him going down with an injury. They have to let this young guy get acclimated. They have to let him get some workload in. And he excels at catching the ball in the backfield. He's one of the top pass-catching running backs in this year's class. If he gets going, if Brady starts connecting with him, we could see him catch some checkdowns in some games, which could increase his value in fantasy. He is a roster stash. I would not roster him expecting him to break out next week. I would roster him to have on the back end of my roster to see what happens. Even if 0 happens, nothing happens. Guys like this is what you want back there, because if they hit, you're going to hit big, and that means league-winning upside. Another guy, league-winning upside, is Brian Robinson, coming back from injury, coming back from getting shot in preseason. And a lot of good things was coming from this guy. He was running well in preseason. He was looking good. He looked like he was going to be the guy. He's coming back. Looks like he might be back this week even. I wouldn't start him this week, but I'd make sure he's not on the waiver wire. I would get him right now. I would have got him last week. I am talking about him here because a lot of people are talking about him right now, and I don't want you to miss out on Brian Robinson if he's just sitting there for you to pluck. Again, same thing as Rachaad White. He's a guy that you have on the back end of your roster, and you're just seeing what happens, and you're trying to hold as long as possible, because if he breaks out, he's going to break out big. And if that running back breaks out big, then you're going to be in the money. That's why we stash these rookie running backs at the end of our drafts. Tyler Algier, Rachaad White, Brian Robinson. We're talking about all these young guys, even more of them, because we just stash them. We just pick them, we spray and pray on them, and we just hope some of these guys get their opportunity. It looks like these 3 running backs are going to get some kind of opportunity in the near future, and you need to be going after them. I am big on going after rookie running backs late in drafts. I'm big on just going after them if they're just sitting on the waiver wire, and there's a big chance they could get an opportunity. Rachaad White, Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier, stash them. Stash them to see what happens. That is a big part of my process. Stash those rookie running backs. Stash high-end, athletic, talented backup running backs. If the starter goes down, that starter gets a ton of workload. They're 20 touch a game back. They go down. That talented back's next in line, and they could be your RB1 for a little bit, or at least give you more value, or give you some promise that you'll get some RB2 weeks out of. That's what you need to go after. These running backs here are hot commodities right now on the waiver wire scene. A lot of people are talking them up. Let me know if there's any running backs that I missed that you want to talk about. Hit that up in the comments. I will have more videos like this coming out. More waiver wire suggestions, more trade suggestions. I drop them all week long. I look through the spreadsheets, I look at what people are talking about, and I drop my knowledge on here. That's why you need to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, so you can help your fantasy teams. If anything, you'll be entertained by some of the advanced metrics and some of the stuff that I come up with. But I want to thank you for watching the show and sticking with me, and I'll catch you on the next vid.